What is going on, fam? My name is Mike Reilley from Reilley's Tasting Room, and today I think I have one of the most interesting beers I've had on this channel so far. I have Allagash's Chocolate Orange Porter. Allagash has this chocolate orange porter, and I saw this and it was just something that I needed to pick up. So usually not huge into porters, but I felt like this one would go extremely well together. With the chocolate, with the orange coming in at 7% alcohol, I don't think you could beat this one. So let's see how it is. So the chocolate orange porter from Allagash is just kind of something that caught my eye. I was in the liquor store, I passed it, and I was like, I'm really not sure if I've had a chocolate orange any sort of beer, let alone a chocolate porter. So I've definitely had chocolate porters before. That's kind of more something that you would see, but an orange version of that, I don't really know. So extremely interesting, and we had to give that a try. So it has your typical like porter stoutish smell on there. Nothing too overbearing. You do get a slight chocolate smell to it, which I would assume you would and should get from this. Also extremely dark, as you would expect from something like this. But I mean, the moment we've all been waiting for. We got to try the chocolate orange porter. Cheers. Initially, from the first little sip, I feel like you are just getting your like stapled porter taste with that, with a little bit of like chocolatey in the background, which does taste really, really good. You're getting like those roasty flavors, and then you're kind of getting a smooth finish, not very hoppy at all, as you would expect, and you are getting just a smooth chocolatey finish throughout. And like as it sits on the tongue, as I'm kind of just letting it sit for the second, you do get a little bit more of like that chocolate flavor to there. So the chocolate is definitely there, coming in at 7% alcohol too. It's a pretty good one for something that you're sipping exactly like this. Still getting a very chocolatey porter up front. I do taste a slight citrusy in like the background, but it's like ever so slightly. I'm not getting a huge orangey taste, but I mean, I guess that obviously that's the citrus in there, but it's ever so slightly in the background where, I mean, I'm really not getting that much of it. So this is kind of more of just like that chocolate porter to me at this point. So like I mentioned, when I did see this in the stores, had to get it. Can was super cool. Just obviously Allagash on there. Chocolate orange porter has the orange peels, the chocolate, the everything on there. Just looked really cool. And on the back, it was mentioned the combination of chocolate and orange. That's smooth. They do cocoa nibs and dark chocolate roasted coffee with a combination of orange peel and orange zest. So I mean, I'm definitely getting like that citrusy back, but it's like really slightly. With something like these porters, you usually get that roasty flavor with like that chocolatey when you are mixing something like this, and like that is that to a T. It's 110% that. All right, on that sip, I kind of got a little bit more. I think it kind of needs to sit and just open for a second. And then you get a little bit more of that citrusy orange flavor, where it's still really in the back end of it, but you are getting it, and it's like, it's really there. Like it's almost, when you get a drink and they put like, just like the little peel of the orange on top, so you get like the little like zest of it. That's what I'm getting from here. Like if it, you know how like with the Blue Moon you get the orange on there? I think something like that with this would just amplify the flavor. So that might be something to do for sure. But you are getting that orange in the background with this, but a very front roasty and chocolate flavor with it. I mean, for 7% alcohol, I mean, I think that's really good. One more sip and I'm going to give you guys my full review. Oh yeah, that's exactly what it is. You kind of need to sit for a second. I don't really do this too much with the beer, but if you like swish it around like this, it kind of opens up the flavors. I just did that prior to that sip, and you do get a lot more of that, and it does make some of the head come back up. So you do get a little taste with that. But that taste with that sip was extremely orangey, but not like an overbearing one. So you are getting a little bit more of like the citrusy than you do with the chocolate. So like if you want a light sipper, maybe just pour it slightly, so you don't get a lot of that like combination up in there. But on the front, you are getting definitely a roasty and chocolate, can't speak, a chocolate flavor on here with the citrus in the background, and that's exactly what you would think this is, and that's exactly what it is. So the first sip, you kind of get like a dark chocolate, you get a little bit of a roasty, and then it kind of slightly goes down with a back end of the citrus after like 1 or 2 sips, and you kind of let that wiggle around in your mouth, you know, sipping it, having some fun with it. You do get a good citrus in the background. You get that orange zest in there. I'm usually not huge into porters, so like I wouldn't go crazy for something like this, but every once in a while I do like switching it up, getting a different style. Obviously it's not as hoppy as like your IPAs or any of your ales in that sense. Like if you wanted something that was less hoppy, 7% still, you definitely should go for something like that. But overall, Allagash from Maine with love. They say that on there. Well, I think they say that on all their beers. And with love, I mean, we're getting the beer, so it's obviously love. But Allagash Chocolate Orange Porter, 7% alcohol. This one, Reilley's Tasting Room has to be a 3.75 out of 5. Cheers.